5 signs that God is trying to speak to you. What if I told you that God might be trying to communicate with you right at this very moment, but you haven't noticed the signs already around you? Many people think that hearing God's voice means witnessing a grand miracle. But in reality, He communicates in much subtler and powerful ways. How many times have you felt an intuition or an inner alert, but ignored it? Or noticed that certain events in your life seemed to fit perfectly, as if they were planned? This is not a coincidence, it could be God trying to speak to you. The problem is that we live in a world full of distractions. We are too busy, too worried, and often become deaf to the Creator's whispers. But He never stops speaking. The question is, are you truly listening? Throughout history, God has used dreams, prophets, signs in nature, unexpected events, and inner restlessness to communicate with humanity. He continues to speak even today, but not everyone is attentive. Imagine receiving an important letter and never opening it, or multiple calls that you never answer. That's how we treat God's signs. They are right in front of us, but we go on as if nothing is happening. Today, you will learn how to identify these signs. When we recognize them, our lives change. We stop making decisions in the dark. We feel an inexplicable peace, and we begin to realize that there is a greater purpose in everything happening around us. Sometimes, God needs to grab our attention more intensely because He has something important to reveal. It could be a warning, guidance, or even confirmation that we are on the right path. Ignoring this is not an option. Perhaps you are here now precisely because He wants you to understand this. So open your mind and heart. In the next few minutes, you will discover the 5 signs that God is trying to communicate with you. Keycap 1. Inner restlessness. Do you know that strange feeling that something is not right, even when everything seems fine? This unrest that you cannot explain may be a sign that God is trying to get your attention. He places discomfort in your heart to show that something needs to change, whether it is a relationship that no longer makes sense, a job that doesn't bring fulfillment, or a cycle in your life that needs to end. Do not ignore this feeling. Ask, Lord, what do you want to show me? What seems like a mere nuisance can actually be an invitation to a deep transformation. Keycap 2. Doors closing mysteriously. Have you ever tried to follow a path and suddenly everything started going wrong? People drift away, opportunities disappear, plans collapse. While this can be frustrating, it may be God protecting you from something that would not be good for your future. He never closes a door without a reason. When something does not go as planned, ask, Lord, where do you want to lead me? Often, the answer is closer than we imagine. Often, people begin to say things that seem perfectly suited for you. Have you ever experienced someone speaking exactly what you needed to hear at the right moment? You are facing a dilemma, and suddenly a friend, a stranger, or even a preacher online says something that touches your heart deeply. This is not mere coincidence. God uses people as messengers. He can place someone in your path to provide answers, confirm feelings you already had, or warn you about something you hadn't noticed. Pay attention to the words that reach you. The answers you seek do not always come in dreams or grand voices. Often, they come through a simple conversation that brings clarity to your soul and strengthens your connection with God. Another powerful sign that He wants to communicate with you is the intense desire to draw closer to Him. Suddenly, you feel an uncontrollable urge to pray more, read the Bible, and seek spiritual answers with greater intensity. This happens because God is awakening your spirit, calling you nearer, and preparing you for new experiences. This thirst for Him does not come out of nowhere, it is a divine invitation to a deeper relationship. If you feel this growing desire to seek God, do not ignore it. He wants to reveal things you do not yet understand and guide you along paths you cannot yet see. The more you respond to this call, the clearer His message becomes. One of the most fascinating signs is when events seem like coincidences but are not. You pray for something, and the next day you hear a sermon on exactly that topic, or you open the Bible and find a verse that seems written just for you. These signs are not accidents. God is a master at using small details to show us great truths. He manifests in the simple moments of daily life, in seemingly insignificant events, yet carrying immense spiritual weight. The key is to stay attentive. The more you notice these signs, the stronger your connection with Him becomes. God is always speaking, the question is whether you are willing to listen. Now that you know these signs, look at your life with fresh eyes. Has God already been trying to communicate with you, and you did not notice? He has answers you need but may be waiting for you to stop and listen. If this text has touched your heart, perhaps this is the moment to open yourself to this divine conversation, because when God speaks, He not only gives answers but transforms lives forever. The question is, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you continue as if nothing happened, ignoring the subtle signals, or pause and reflect on what God may be trying to tell you? When He wants to speak, He insists, repeats, and creates situations that bring you back to the same question. The more you ignore it, the stronger the sense that something needs to change. However, God never forces anyone. He respects free will but always leaves signs for those willing to see. How many times have you felt you should take a different path but ignored your intuition? How many times did something within you cry out, and you chose the silence of comfort? God speaks to those with spiritual ears, and this may be the moment He is awakening something inside you. All major changes in your life began with a moment of clarity, an instant when everything made sense and you realized you needed to act. If this is one of those moments, if these words are the answer you were seeking, perhaps God is reminding you that He has never abandoned you, that He has a plan for your life, and now it is time to pay attention to what He wants to reveal. The greatest challenge is not only recognizing the signs but trusting them. Trusting that when one door closes, something better is coming. Trusting that the restlessness inside you is a call to something greater. Trusting that unexpected answers are not coincidences but divine guidance. The world teaches us to rely only on what we see and touch, but God's voice speaks to the heart. Only those who learn to listen experience true transformation. So reflect sincerely. Have you given God space to speak? Is your life so full of distractions that you cannot hear the signs? The truth is that God does not compete for your attention. He whispers, signals, and calls in unexpected ways. But it is up to you to decide whether to listen or not. What if this is the moment God is trying to awaken something in you? If He is calling you now to a new stage, a new direction, or a deeper understanding of your purpose, you have two choices: continue living as if nothing is happening, or decide to stop, reflect, and seek this connection with an open heart. When you choose to listen to God, the answers that once seemed distant begin to appear. What was confusing becomes clear, and what seemed impossible starts to take shape. Now, the decision is in your hands. Continue as you always have, ignoring the signs, or take a step of faith and sincerely ask, Lord, what do you want to show me? If you do this truly, be ready, because He always answers. And when He answers, nothing will ever be the same again.